Welcome, welcome, welcome to my lovely IHP community and the 5D collective, to those who are looking forward to being their true self. So you have the desire and or you are a whole self, internally, securely attached. And being yourself mindfully, spiritually calls to you. So you like mindsight, mindfulness practices. Mindsight is one that I got from Dr. Daniel Siegel, a lot of different courses. As a 5D mystic, we have a totally different experience with our oversoul, twin flame and flames for some of us, and everything that is within the plane of spirituality, religion, esotericism, metaphysics, not religion, okay? So we bring it all in, and sciences and spirituality come together. So whether you want to acknowledge, as we all know, don't play God, there's free will, or determined, no free will, and that's a science of life without free will, Robert Sapolsky. They equally have me knowing that you have an opportunity to choose yourself. The therapist is where you're going to claim yourself first. And that's because you're getting it unpaused. You're going to learn how to work with your emotional plane because sensory motor somatics, EMDR, child parts work. And once you're ready to do more, you do more. Also, we are unconsciously loving the 5D collective because that's the part of where I come in as a 5D mystic and a person who's a mentor, content creator, podcast host, but also self-empowered. It's the eternal child that I have here, and that's what you're going to also want to achieve. You can achieve it. Infinite higher human conscious potential experience is achievable when you pursue integration and your capacity to be in the restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating in your ventral vagal state, which is your social engagement nervous system. And I've learned a lot of words and a lot of the foundation, our blueprint. It's an embodied brain from smart people like Stephen Porges, Peter Levine, Bezel van der Kolk, Dr. Daniel Fox, Dr. Daniel Siegel, Janina Fisher, Ruth Lanius, Bethany, all of the keep at Somatopia, okay? So you can always ask. But in the meantime, I'm coming today with also channeled guidance and food for thought. So remember, I'm the pseudoscience woo-woo lady here because we got the scientists in the they're doing all their research and all their stuff. Okay. And also, we're seekers. Thank you, Sadhguru. If you are really looking for the truth, don't assume anything. Just seek. That's what a person who lives mindfully and loves mindfully and spiritually does. Seeking means admitting that you don't know. Once you have cleared your slate, truth can imprint itself upon it. And that is why truth is neutrality and duality. You've cleared your slate when you know how to mindfully live in love because you are always self-aware and your self is owned by you, your sense of self, and it's a whole self. So you don't have a flag that gets affected by other people. The texture of your thoughts and feelings gauge the level of self-ownership and mastery that you have and how you love. So it's only, again, once you have a whole self that is securely attached, person or mystic, that you experience love deeply because you're in a state of physiological love, thanks to the secure, attached inner world of you. And you're building authentic relationships that are genuine because you are being yourself and the true essence of love in life that you embody as a human who is leading with your higher self with an integrated brain. And so you use the prefrontal cortex and the soul, for those of you who like to also use the word soul, because you do have a soul because you're a spiritual person. Okay, so being yourself and true to the essence of love in life that you can embody as a human and soul, if you want to, means you choosing to be yourself with love for yourself and others. And that's with the inner growth mindset, mindfulness, and mindsight daily practices in the forefront, because as you interact with others, that love is going to be something that you're going to use, especially when we're meeting Cuscos, right? excuse me. You're confusing science and spirituality. So you get to practice being in the non-reactive social engagement system because you have a person who's in front of you who is interrupting you, but you don't know yet. You're not assuming. So first you say, wait a minute, and you're not in a defensive mode because you're not insecure. And so you don't need to take over the room. You're a functional adult. So you're not an adaptive child. Now, we don't know if this person's an adaptive child part of himself or not yet, but we will by the time I say, no, the second time, that's not what I'm doing. I tell them what I'm doing, my subjective Maria experience, reality, and what I'm actively doing, which is bringing science and spirituality together. Now that they're saying, no, but I'm a mystic too, now we have unbridled self-expression. So the control came in with the right and wrong of a person who's interjecting. But I'm non-reactive because I have a healthy self-worth, empowered ego. So Maria's not offended, not taken off, not moving into biological rudeness. I don't need a safety behavior. I don't need my 16-year-old, and my 16-year-old wasn't even that, because I was already mindfully aware and living with mindfulness and mindset practices. I just didn't know it. And so moving into the Enlightenment Soul Age group is really fun. Being an integrated brain, really great. Being able to be restored embodiment, awesome. So being yourself mindfully and spiritually, again, it's pretty great for those of us who enjoy it. And for those of you who are spiritual people, it also involves us choosing a life that embodies the true essence and nature of spirituality, which is unconditional love. I learned this from Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God, and then I continue to learn this through my own personal 5D mystic experience, my oversoul, with my lovely soulmates, twin flame and flames, and everybody and anything and all. Okay, so that's where it's really fun, and I'm going to keep bringing more once the tears are out for my 5D mystic community. That which we can talk about together as a 5D mystic path is totally different than those who are in the 3D, 4D levels of state of consciousness, because their frequency is beneath neutrality. So their body is not owned, their sense of self and self is not owned, their heart is not, they don't own. In fact, they're using the frontal lobes are flopped down, alert, their amygdala's on, and their teenager is leading the way, which is why I always talk about teenagers, because it's a Elsa journey. Show yourself. Although the teenagers of today, they have more options, but still, we have free will or an absence of free will that we can determine, or God, depends what you want. And we don't choose for people what it is for them to be. The laws give us laws, so they physically will have lost respect. If they end up in prison, we have a forensic criminologist and his Michael Stone scale. They're all evil, are they? They are evil, but they're evil not because of a demon. They have trauma, past self, a lot of answers that we have. But still, they can consciously choose to go to get good therapy, yes, but do they have access? So we just want to continue to be aware of this, which is no one's going to pick a bear out of the empowered men, women, and theys. We're all aware that we still have men. Yes, I'm not physically safe with any of you. Women, I would choose you, but only because I'm a woman, and I know that we will therefore be able to come together better. And also, really, it's because you're not scary physically, while a man will be, and I don't want to deal with that. But essentially, if I'm given the opportunity of man bear, I'm going to pick bear. If I have the opportunity to ask questions, I'll ask more questions. And anybody who's doing trending topics is not a human being who is looking to expand human consciousness and our species' societal evolution. They're looking for people to take a side. And when they want someone to take a side, it's like, excuse me, I got an adaptive child in the room who doesn't know about how to be empowered. And that taking a side means you don't know what proof and subjective reality and all this, a lot of stuff. So you can go with the flat earthers, keep hanging out. Okay, so again, we're an empowered group of people, highly emotional, mental, physically intelligent here at IHP. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to inspire human potential, would we? And I'm building a community. This is not a platform for where Maria wants to be seen, to be acknowledged in any form or way, shape. I'd say I have my stories. You get to hear them, perspectives, and then food for thought. And then when our tears are out on YouTube, we also have Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Remember that the audio has content that doesn't come out on YouTube. And more to be continued, one-to-one mentorship, the masterclass, sign up if you're interested, and spirituality retreats in the future. And with that, being yourself mindfully, spiritually means I'm giving you some other opportunities to understand it thoroughly, being true to who you are as you listen to your inner child from your prefrontal cortex as your higher self adult. You mindfully, spiritually live in love as an adult who knows how to witness, process, and let go of mental concepts and emotional charges and triggers that come up. Your past childhood memories or life events don't dictate your present, thanks to the application of an inner growth mindset, mindfulness, and mindset daily practices, and lifestyle that have love guiding you. So the love is unconditional, and it's also because you're securely internally, right? So you're an internally securely attached self person, or are pursuing it, so you own your sense of self, which is why you know how to see, soothe, safe, secure your nervous system and yourself, and you don't do shame, blame, fault, revenge. So you don't project or handle what comes up in your emotional, mental, and physical sphere in a unhealthy mannerism that is not securely within attached, okay? And that's why you're also mindfully aware of yourself completely. So you own it, observe, witness, narrate your heart, your body, your mind, and yourself. And that's in thought form and emotional form. Whatever comes first doesn't matter. You're able to contain, so you have a window of welcome, and you know emotional triggers and charges, and you're choosing non-reactivity by putting it into practice with mindset, mindfulness every day. The ones who need the help, they get the good therapist, and then they continue to do what we're talking about. So you're at peace with having flaws and imperfections in other people's eyes that can lead them to rejecting you, not liking you, calling you a name, insulting you. If they're not really insulting when you're empowered, it's just them giving their opinion. When you have loved ones who don't accept you, you process it, and it's kind of like Diego Mannion Cid and Pacha with Cusco. So you're able to not take it personally because you process it like a grown up. Your higher self adult, your social engagement, you're in your prefrontal. You have a flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable brain because your default mode network is not scanning you and others to get a thumbs up or thumbs down. You're not scanning anyone. You're not scanning yourself. You're being yourself, and you're leading life with integrity. And you have healthy self-worth, and you have no self-shame, doubt, or fear, even if your own herd members don't like something you're doing. You're able to accept that differences are what you have in the forefront from here, and to again be in a ventral vagal state, non-reactive social engagement embodiment. And that's why you're a functional adult, as Terry Real would say, and you have healthy self-worth. So being yourself mindfully, spiritually, is knowing in your mind, heart, and body and self that you're wanted just the way you are, that you can speak what you think and feel, but that not all will welcome you or want you as you are, or hear what you have to say as meaningful, valuable, or important. When this happens, you are non-reactive because you own your sense of self and stand in equanimity, neutrality and duality, kindness, compassion, and integrity from within. So this is a stance of the ventral vagal pose, which you naturally become just inclined to always be in. The more you do it, the more you'll see, and that restorative embodiment is something that is amazing. So being yourself mindfully, spiritually means you won't make someone have to welcome you as you are or have to hear what you have to speak. Not at all. That's why whenever you meet them, just allow yourself to remember who they are. You welcome yourself completely from a mental, emotional, and physical plane, and that's enough. Which is why, as an Akashic record reader, when I read about us mastering mental, emotion, physical plane, so the 5D mystic path, the empowered, embodied feminine knows as it's happening that it's happening, and that's why we're not lost. But also you acknowledge at the level of the mind and the heart that differences are a part of life and relationships, and that rejection can happen, and it's not the end of you or what you stand for in the world. So once again, let's bring in Robert Sapolsky with Determined, because I have a twin and I have a mom. So I got practice in doing this. Let's bring in, yes, we can talk about God with free will, right? Unkind, kind. It's not Lucifer, because when we have a person who will not know healthy self-worth, we got a whole different story going on. We got a mammalian heritage of a 0-1-year-old who will want to be welcomed. And if they're 0-3-year-old and 3 to 7 has shame submission, and we got an 8-year-old that moves into their 11, 12, and then 14, 15, 16, by the time you're an adolescent, now we move out of your allo-parenting from home, whatever category you are, with however many of those 5 at the very bare minimum allo-parenting figures you're going to have, and now you're going to go play it out with those teenagers, or you might have the capacity to be self-aware, accountable, regulating. Although blending and not owning yourself and it being paused is going to make it quite challenging, because you also have the adolescent essence. So you're looking to be accepted by your crew, and you have the social system online. So this second system that seeks the same thumbs up, because your body as a mammal knows I need to be welcomed in a herd, because otherwise, way back when, evolutionary psychologists make it very clear that if you were cut out of the herd, the animals are going to eat you. So I don't know this fear because I have a twin. So my implicit memory begins with having a twin, okay, having another person. And I have had enough of those fights. I got disowned and got told it's not true. So I had a heartbreak, but I was informed of it, and I learned how to play life together differently. And no, we're not in any way, shape, or form broken. My twin, is that why we're broken? No, we just have different ways that we love and that we speak. So we have a different way of socializing, and we come to learn as grown-ups how to handle. My 3-year-old, she still comes up. I'm the bossy one, And that will continue to be so, but I work with my tone, and my mother and twin are very patient, and I'm patient with them, and that's how it works. And my younger sister, she's the perfect mediator for us, and she gets to put up with us, and all of us get to put up with everybody. We're Italians. Neapolitans, to be specific, from the mother's side and the biological father's side, and then there's a lot more to it, but enough with stories. And back to being yourself mindfully, spiritually, again, has you embodying a state of focused attention, awareness, and self-regulation with your body, heart, mind, and self in the forefront with love, kindness, compassion, equanimity, integrity. Okay, so you have all of this going on. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in your securely attached inner self, so you would not be able to do what I'm talking about. There has to be kind intention and love. Otherwise, you're not going to tell your body it's safe. That's why neutrality and duality, and that's why you would choose more a positive word than a negative word, because you want to reconfirm to your body we're physically safe. Get it out of the habit of being defensive, but not because everything's rosy, cozy, but it's not laundry either. You don't use dehumanizing words or objectifying words for your thoughts and emotions. You experience the depths of them because they don't burden you, because you're in your prefrontal. That's also the part of mindfulness, mindset, and mindset that makes it fun with the inner growth, dealing with the unknown, uncertainty, unwanted from an open heart while going with the flow. So it has you in the moment processing and releasing emotional charges, stories, and concepts that may come up from your past childhood or other past life events, distortions, biases, you all of that. Okay, so you work with all that, and you continue to be more and more in that present, and with you owning all the parts of you. So observe, witness, narrate. You have them as one whole self. You're able to welcome and make sense of thoughts and emotions that come up because you understand your self lens. This is the self lens is from Dr. Daniel Siegel, so that means the core narrative, relation, and soul self. You own and know them, so you also know your past, your first 3 years of life, the implicit memory, and then the explicit, and your home and mammalian heritage and your teenage years, okay? And then you're regulating your emotional body, though, in your ventral vagal state. So you're choosing non-reactivity this way, mindfully engaging your social engagement system, and this serves your inner and outer well-being with being yourself in life day to day and relationships, because you're bringing forth this restorative embodiment, integration, and use stress instead of distress. Distress is what comes with the fight flight, the sympathetic, which is what all those teenagers are in. So being yourself mindfully, spiritually has you dealing with unknowns, unexpecteds, and uncertainties with mental and emotional depth and flow. Thoughts and emotions are explored from your secondary human consciousness with a texture of softness and experienced with ease, fluidity, and clarity. The more you put this into practice, the more you live, love, laugh, learn, expand consciousness, and tap into the infinite higher human conscious potential that you can embody when being yourself mindfully and spiritually, or one or the other. So remembering that what other people say about you doesn't matter, but you should not be ashamed of what you have done. Integrity is what you consistently are acquiring. You're also a person who is able to put daily practices of mindset, mindfulness, mindset, or wanting to. So neutrality, again, duality is where I look at the expectations, I look at the surprise, whatever it is that is going to come forth, you're able to use equanimity because your body, heart, mind, and self are safe and secure at home inside of you. So there's no shame or sensitive ego or blind spots that make it hard for you to think and feel. You don't think that somebody and you having differences is good or bad. You accept it and you don't make it personal because of that internal, securely attached and empowered self with equanimity. And therefore, you're able to identify the genuine relationships you're growing with healthy self-worth others who are like you, and then the unhealthy self-worth others who navigate 3D, 4D states of consciousness, and therefore they embody dysregulated and modulated embodiment. And you keep growing those relationships like Pacha grows with Cusco. So being yourself mindfully, spiritually in your restorative embodiment is your choice, but it's not everybody's choice. And there are those who will want to achieve it, those who don't, and we don't really impose on anyone, again, to have to be in their higher human conscious, emotional, mental, physical intelligence plane being, that they don't have to come at us with their being a functional adult. They can be a adaptive child, and there's that. And so like my facade friend, we can completely come together and have a good time all the time because I know him, he knows me, and that's what it is. Accepting, loving, and respecting each other for who we are, Hesketh Pearson, a man's character never changes radically from youth to old age. What happens is that circumstances bring out characteristics which have not been obvious to the superficial observer. However, when I bring to you human, spiritual, and spirituality elements to explore human evolution and consciousness, as a content creator and mentor, what I can tell you is, with God over here, Robert Sapolsky over here, I am with God and Dr. Daniel Siegel and a lot more, that you do have the opportunity to have different outcome. So you don't have to be karma. You can be dharma. You don't have to be the unkind child that was traumatized with a past self. You can be the person who in this time knows how to become your whole self. For those who can understand this, there's no Lucifer or evil to blame in this way. If you want to take the term, and then we're going to say karma means that you're going to live out the first 8 years of your life on a wheel. You began already as a teenager, so you are already going to have chosen who you're following as of Peter Pan's, and that's really what it comes down to. I see 3D 4D. I thought they would get out of 3D 4D. Now I know they won't, because Peter Levine and all the therapists, Dr. Daniel Fox, all of them, if you don't want to heal, you won't. You will continue to reject and refuse and unhealthily self-soothe. And I've seen the fancy woman and man in suit. Is why I don't respect. They have stuff to offer. Yes, they do. For the individuals who do not want to embody their true self or their wholeness, because they don't want to embody the depths of the emotional plane, because they're afraid of it, because it's disconnected. So they get to live half a life because they don't learn self-regulation in the ventral vagal state and to be non-reactive when they could in our time of now. This was not possible prior, but you still have people who, when you inform them that there's no demon possessing anyone, with neuroscientist Patrick McNamara proving it, and they tell you everybody needs something to believe on and believe in, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm a mystic, not you. But then again, I know you've been to where they do this, let me get rid of the demonic possession. Yes, I know that there's still that, and I also know of, unfortunately, the negating of sciences by those who do not welcome decentralization of the self, which is part of our species evolution. It's actually your biology to be in the restorative embodiment. So the reality is your birthright is to be whole as a self and to have heaven in your body, which means regulating your nervous system. Now, Stephen Porges is still working to continue to prove the quantitative data. And as we wait for everything to come together, we get to support each other to be our true selves, mindfully and spiritually, self-empowered, healthy self-worth, women, men, theys, mystics and not, coming together to engage our social engagement system and have a good time. Like, share, and subscribe if you know others who enjoy being the true self, the essence of love and life that they can embody as a human and soul if they want to. So they don't have to use that word, but a whole self is you. A person who knows how to use the two sides of your brain is you. A person who knows how to have nice functional adult conversations is you. So if you don't like the unconditional love, again, that's something that is a different story, but still you're going to be able to be non-reactive in a state of unconditional love. Compassion is achieved because you are forgiving towards your imperfections and flaws, also of others, and know that differences are differences. They're not personal. That's the aspect of why pure consciousness is unconditional love. If you pursue consistently the spirituality journey, you will find yourself in the lovely 5D mystic plane, and it is amazing. So we're going to be back with some more. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by.